What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. Welcome on in, each and every one of you. Set Wars are here. And I am pumped, I am excited, and we are kicking it off as only we can with a Set Wars show. Now you're going to say, hey, John, you said you weren't going to do podcast for side events. You said it was going to take too much time. And you know what? Yeah, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, it is going to take up some time, but I've decided that I'm still going to cover at least this one very minimally, right? I'm not doing drops. I'm not doing segments. I'm just going to talk about what's going on in the tournament, give as little advice as I can, because I feel like this isn't really a place where I can give advice, right? Where, first of all, 16 sets, too many sets. I can't talk about what's going on in sets. And secondly, you got your teammates there. That's the advice I have for you. Listen to your teammates. Don't play your games without at least one of your teammates there to help. Last time we did one of these team leagues, it was a lot of fun. It was a great time. But man, there's a lot of help going around, and because there's so much help, there's very few misplays happening. Because it's a lot harder to make a mistake when you got somebody watching your back. So use your teammates. They are there to help you. They are there to guide you, and you should help and guide them as well. We have a bunch of different teams. We got 4 classes in a team. You got your warrior, your cleric, your wizard, and your rogue. I myself am a cleric. I am playing Amonkhet, but I'm sure you're playing something different, right? That's the fun part of Set Wars, is that we have a wide range of sets that we're all playing from. And this is our first week. It's only a 3-week league, and it's losses count for your whole team and wins count for your whole team. It's going to be a really fun time, and I'm really excited to see it happen. But first, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. So Neo and SNC were the most popular picked sets. Those are the sets you're probably going to see the most. Kamigawa, Neo, and SNC. The least picked sets, regular Dominaria. Nobody picked it, so sorry. Regular Dominaria. Dom U only had one person pick it, probably because we just did a Dom U league, and I think a lot of people are burnt out on it and don't want to play those cards anymore, which I understand, although I think Dom U is pretty strong, so only having one person pick it, I don't know, I feel like that's a little low. And then we had one person pick M21, my core set friends. Where are my core setters at? You know I got your back, and I know you got mine, you core setters. I love core sets. Bring back core sets. Bring back Block Limited. Bring it all back, please. And games start tomorrow, Friday. So start jamming those games. Use your teammates for help and start getting some wins. Right? New league. Who dis? This is Goku, and I am ready to play some Magic. I've done some practice games with my deck. I've learned some things. I've changed I added in an off-color land. Why did I do that? Well, I don't know. Talk to me when we play, and maybe I'll tell you what it's there for. Added in some basics into my sideboard after I played a practice and realized, I didn't have any basics. Play your practice games. They help a lot, and they not only do they teach you the way cards work, because I definitely had a bunch of misplays in my practice games because I wasn't totally up on how all these cards work, right? I haven't played this set in a while. But also I'm just learning. I want to put this in my sideboard. Wow, I can't do that. I don't have the lands I need. Boom, got the lands I need. Now I'm ready for my games. And I hope you're ready for your games too. This is going to be a tough one, but this is going to be a hard one. There's a lot of great players, and they're going to be getting help from other great players. So this is going to be, I think it's just going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to get all the way to the end. And if you can do it, I give you a tip of my cap. Hat off to you. You did great. If you can get there, of course. If you can get there. Well, we're doing Set Wars, so I thought I would start to bring on my teammates. That's right. I'm going to introduce you to each and every one of my teammates over the next 3 weeks. Some people have been in the league. Some people are not in the league. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun thing I do here for you, and, just light, casual, no pressure here to put on a great show, right? No pressure. This is a side event. So, speaking of, there is another side event happening right now. That is the Ravnica side event, and that cut to top five with 5 players in it. So you got Kyle, you got Paul G, Kyle W, Johnny M, Dan A, and Damian S playing for victory. Now Dan just won the Dom U League, so he's trying to go back to back here with a side quest win. And Johnny, I believe, won the last side quest of these. So it's pretty exciting to have a couple, big players in there. You got Damien, your Paul, your Kyle. You get a lot of good players in there. And I played in this. I had a blast playing in this. This was a lot of fun. And it was a nice reminder for this side quest league that's going on because I got to play with a bunch of the fun sets that are in this. So, it's just a great time. Some great magic going on. But let's bring on my first guest for the Set Wars. I'm going to be talking to none other than my good pal, Chris R. Sinkwater. Join me as we bring him on the show. All right, everyone, welcome and join me as I bring onto the show Chris R. Chris, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Chris, when did you start playing Magic?
All the way back in Revised.
Ooh, old time. What are the old timers? An old timer, this guy.
Yeah, I feel like you get surprised every time someone goes back to that era, but seems like there's a lot of us kicking around.
And I know you still have some of those old cards. You're one of the few people that I know has some of those old time Magic cards.
Yeah, I got to give my folks credit. They didn't throw away any of my junk. So yeah, a couple years ago, I reclaimed I got a play set of Tundras. I got some Underground Seas, some Scrublands, some Wheels of Fortune.
No big
that's
deal.
pretty much it. I don't have any big. I have like a couple random unlimited cards, and I spent most of my money on Fallen Empires because when you're a kid and you don't have any money, I don't think people remembered it was like an 8 card pack and it was like $1.50 or something. So I was like $1.50, I can get a bunch, or a bunch. I get 2 instead of like one revised or 4th edition pack. So
that's how they get you.
That's how they got me.
And did you play pretty consistently, or did you take a break and come back in?
No, so I basically made it through Ice Age, so not too long then. And actually, I'm gonna ask you. So with our team that we got going, your brother Nick kind of got me back into it. I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. I think you guys might have started playing again around cons.
Yep, we started. So okay, here we go. We started technically when I started playing Magic again was right before Core Set M14. I believe the Ravnica set had just come out, and that's when I started playing. And then right after Core Set was cons. So yeah, Core Set was the first set that came out after I had started playing, and then we got really into it during that Core Set. And then cons was like the next big one, like, pre-release, I can't wait, and your Pony Back Riders pre-release. So great. I opened a Sorin and a Fetchland, Windswept Heath. It was a great pre-release.
That sounds like a good pre-release. So I didn't get in quite. I have a bit of a lag because that was when Nick was like, "Hey, did you used to play, Magic?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, I'm playing. Me and John are playing. You might want to get back into it. So my first pre-release back was Battle for Zendikar.
Ooh, that was a pretty good one, Battle for Zendikar.
It was pretty good. I remember showing up to the pre-release, not really knowing how real Magic worked at that point, and people being like, "Oh, I open an expedition," and I'm like, "I don't know what is that." Like,
what even is that?
I'm like nervous. I'm gonna open it and break it or something, Yeah. So then I kind of grinded a little MTGO, not too much. And then when Arena came out, was sort of when I got played a lot more. I never really found a good shop I liked in my area, so I would show up for pre-releases, and that was about it. So yeah, it's kind of when I got back into it.
Yeah, I've known you a long time, Chris. What have I known you, like 15 years, something like that?
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah.
So I've known you a long time. You're in my Set Wars team. It's you, my brother, and Jason, who's one of your friends who I've met, who's a great guy. And we've gone to a couple team GPs together before, and we've done a team sealed before. So we have a little experience in this kind of Set Wars team stuff, right? We've done a little bit of this.
Yeah, I think we did 2 GPs as a team.
We did what was it? We did Ixalan. We did terrible in Ixalan. Had a
Oh,
terrible time. What a bad format that was. We scrubbed out very quick.
yeah. And I think we were in Rhode Island for that or something. It was not a great time.
And the other one was a Zendikar, I remember, because I opened a foil reality smasher. So whatever set that was, either Battle for, Return to, but yeah, a Zendikar was the other one we did. That one we did all right in, if I remember correctly. That one we did pretty good. We didn't day two or anything. But yeah, we had a decent run.
Yeah, we were in contention for day two until we got our third loss.
Yeah, until we weren't.
Yeah,
but-
no, but to flesh out the team, so Jason and I have been friends from freshman year of high school,
Oh, awesome.
and so yeah, we've been playing together. We played a little off and on. I think we both had cards, but I don't think we really got back into it until you guys started getting back into it, and I was like, Jay, let's start playing some more of this. So
Look at this. We get you back into Magic, and you're the guy who invites me to the league. How about that? So
How about that?
We get you into that. You get me into this. Potato, potato. It's all great, man. It's all working out. So we're doing our Set Wars team, the Brothers War,
Mhm.
WORE. That's our gimmick. It's a pun, right? If you don't get the pun, check out our pictures. Maybe you'll see some clothing in there. Ooh, fun Magic clothing. We're really working on this one.
Mhm.
What are you playing for Set Wars? What set did you pick?
So I went Zendikar Rising.
Okay.
And I didn't think that we were going to be so Zendikar heavy so far in the show, but here we are. But I was looking at so one of my kind of philosophies in the league is like the sooner you can have a good mana base, the better off you are.
Okay.
And so I was looking at the sets and I'm like, okay, 9 packs of Zendikar Rising. I think that's enough that you can go 2 colors without having to worry about it too much. And I don't think that set has good splashing, but I love me the modal double face cards, the lands in particular.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was hoping to get enough that I could sort of cheat a little bit on mana and play with those tap lands if you need to. So I thought 9 packs was pretty generous for that, and to hopefully have a little bit of a consistent deck, and that's kind of why I wanted to go for that one.
Is that a set you remember favorably? You really like Zendikar Rising?
I remember liking the kicker.
Oh, here's the kicker. Remember that
You
segment?
know, love me.
Popular.
Here's the kicker. Give me some Roost of Drakes going. I'm a pretty happy camper. But I no, I don't remember it as like a particularly like strong, bomb heavy, or it wasn't one of my favorites. Some of the other ones that were available, like Eldraine and some other like kind of more of my like I really like playing those sets. So it was a bit where I enjoyed it, but I thought it would also be good for the league.
Our Eldraine player did open some bombs, and
I
it's
know
that's exciting. That's exciting.
it is exciting.
I'm really excited for Set Wars. I got Amonkhet, as we've said before, and in some practice, the deck's working all right. It's kind of doing its thing. I got my deserts in there and my exerting creatures, and it's a magic deck. What can I say?
Yeah, I think those remastered that and the Kaladesh were interesting options because I don't know if a lot of people got a lot of time with those, just the way they were released on Arena. But I liked both those sets. So I think those are cool options.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun time. I'm really excited for Set Wars. This is the Set Wars kickoff show after all. So we're going to talk, Chris, what set do you think is going to perform the best, and what set do you think is going to perform the worst? All right, a little prediction here on the show.
I know prediction. So this is a bit. So if I were a good guest, I would have researched everybody's pools and see who opened busted pools and not so much. But I didn't do that. I think that looking into it, I thought that original Dominaria was sort of the worst placed in terms of how many packs they got, and I think I remember that set fondly. I really like that set a lot, but I don't think it holds up anymore.
Mhm.
And I think the way it worked out is that David was the only player who ended up with it, and he didn't even want it, if I remember that right. Or he just sort of got gifted it. Anyway, but he's such a good player that I don't know that it'll perform the worst, but that was the one I was hoping to avoid, that I thought sort of stood out as like the worst option.
All right, so your worst is regular Dominaria, or is it regular Dominaria, right? Not Dominaria United.
Regular, yep.
And then what do you think for best? What do you think is going to perform the best overall?
I think Midnight Hunt might be a pretty strong contender. I think if you get a good pool of that, I think Disturb was such a strong mechanic, and there's a bunch of busted rares that I could see that one being pretty hard to deal with. I don't know.
I'm going to say Kaladesh for weakest and Throne of Eldraine for strongest.
Ooh,
Didn't put much thought into it. Just kind of those are my picks at the moment.
shooting from the hip, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I don't even have a list of what all the sets are, but I remember Kaladesh, those energy decks. I mean, sometimes they go crazy, but I don't know. It's a weird mechanic. And Eldraine, you got everything's a spell and it's also a creature, and those food decks, like a good black green food deck, and I'm sure most Eldraine's going to be black green food or trying to be. Um, those decks are good. Like those decks are just good. They gain
Yeah.
a lot of life. They get so much value over time. You know, the cat oven thing. It's good.
Yeah, and I should also change my Zendikar Rising is going to do the best,
Oh
obviously.
yeah, yeah. And Amonkhet remastered is going to also be the best. Well, Chris, you've been in the league a while. What was your first league? Because you invited me, and that was Strixhaven. So you'd been in there a few before me.
No, just the one before Chaos One.
Chaos One. I remember you texting me and be like, "Hey, I'm adding this pack to this pool. What do I do?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about, man. What do you mean?"
Yeah,
And it sounded
yeah,
so fun. I wanted to be a part of it.
yeah. I got roped in by the Reddit posts in the LR subreddit, and I was like, this sounds fun. I had seen it a couple of sets before, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. And then Chaos, we love Chaos.
Chaos is our favorite. Chaos. We would go to GPs just to do chaos drafts all day,
Yeah,
like mystery booster drafts. We were able to go to one of the few of those that happened before the pandemic. That was our thing. Chaos drafts.
yeah. So I leaped in on that. I had a great time, and then I sort of reach out. It's kind of like if you ever had the experience of like inviting your friends from home to camp. You're like, I really like this thing, but I don't know if you're gonna like it or not. So I was like, hey John, you want to join this? And then we got Nick and Jason in on it too. So
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we'll get to all those guys. Jason's been in the league for a few. Nick came in, had a bad time, left, hasn't come back, coming back for Set Wars. Very exciting.
triumphant return.
I know, I know. Well, his one and only. We're not going to give him to come back again, so this better be good. And Chris, so you've been in the league for a while. You've seen a lot. What's something you would change about the league?
Yeah. So I thought about this a little bit, and maybe not so controversially. I'd like to see something tweaked with week 6.
Week 6, the dreaded week 6.
Yeah. Having to play your matches early, getting targeted, or having to track down opponents, or the sort of like inevitable dance of unplayed matches that happens. Like none of that is fun to me. And I think that is not super uncommon. You hear it in the Discord a decent amount. But that said, I don't know what the answer is, and I don't think there's an easy answer because the community is great, and they if there was like, oh, certainly let's do this, it would have been in. But I also don't really like how you get sort of the one side where, well, week 6 is different. We can't like put the kid gloves on and just got to pay attention to these like soft rules and norms of the server. But then we also hear, well, we can't codify different week 6 because that would be too much. I don't know. I think there needs to be some. I'd like to see some of the options that have been thrown out. I really liked. I think it was Jeremy who was like, treat it like a day 2, or try some other stuff. I think it would be fun to just try something different and see how it goes.
Week 6 is tough, right? Week 6 is it's not just tough to get to and tough to plan and all that, but it's tough to fix the week 6 problems, right? Because it comes up every league. There's always some kind of issue with week 6, and whether it's there's been so many. I'm not even trying to go through them all, right? But week 6, and it has changed since I've been in the league. So week 6, it has had changes, and Chris, you've actually been on the rough end of a few week 6s. I think you've had 2 ninth place finishes.
I have placed ninth twice. Yep.
Yeah, and one time I believe was fairly controversial. Um, the other time was just kind of just rough tie breaks. Um, so you're coming from a place that not a lot of people get to, which is that the disappointment of week 6 multiple times, which has been rough to watch as your friend. No one wants to see their buddy sitting there at ninth, on week 6. Oh,
Yeah. Well, and I will say that like I'm coming at it at least from here talking about it is more of like the experience of week 6 and not necessarily being the outsider looking in. So one of the 9th places I just lost on tie breaks, the tie breaks that were part of it. And the other one I couldn't get a last match in. So that was a bummer. That felt pretty bad.
yeah, that was a feel bad.
Um but it's really not that I got left out of the top 8 or whatever. It is just like the whole week of just just how different it is and how all the stuff I mentioned before. It's more the experience rather than just like that. However, we determine top 8, that I think we could tweak a little bit. And you're right, it has changed. I think the move to like making everyone get the 30 matches was strong. It's a good idea. I think it's part of what Jeremy was proposing before is like maybe have everyone get to 25 matches at the end of week 5. That could potentially be another thing to think about. I don't know. Again, I don't have the solution, and I don't think there's an easy one, but I think it's worth trying something else out. And maybe even some of these sort of mini league side events might be the time to try some of that out as well.
There were a lot of great ideas for the end of week 6 that came out, very recently at the end of Dominator United. And they all, of course, have pros and cons, but having the discussion to continue and keep going, I think, is how it gets helpful, because maybe somebody can crack the code, because it's a hard code to crack, right? Like it's just tough, and I get what everyone's saying on both sides, and it's a tough cookie at week 6, and I don't know what the answer is either, but hopefully someone can figure it out, because week 6 I just think is rough, just across the board. But hey,
yeah.
I get stressed out very easy. Week 6 is extremely stressful. Oh my gosh. Well, Chris, we gotta start wrapping it up here as we get ready for our set wars. We gotta do some practice matches probably, and hone our decks. So I gotta ask you, what is your greatest Magic accomplishment?
Can I say 2 top 9s?
2 top 9s, 18. Give me an 18.
No, yeah, I have no Magic accolades.
Come on, you got something.
We've gone to some GPs and had a good time. I know we went one time, and I think I didn't lose a match just doing side events. And I remember, like if people saw your icon before we changed it for our Brothers War, it's you holding a giant Magic card, and that's one of the things that we like to do as a team is we pool all our tickets, right? And each of us gets a giant Magic card, and so that Steam Vents you're holding was from a GP New Jersey a couple of years ago. So I think that's fun when we get to do that. But here's my real answer: bringing you into the league.
Oh,
that's my greatest Magic accomplishment.
Yeah, I'll say you also buried the lead there. We all have giant Magic cards. That's a great. Like I have a giant Steam Vents. My brother has a big Mu Yan Ling. And what card do you have, Chris?
Elspeth Conquers Death.
ECD. You've got like an Altar. Oh, is it Altar? Maybe it's not Altar. You've got a giant Elspeth Conquers Death card. That's awesome. Very cool.
And I had to mail you that.
Yeah, you had to mail me that. It was $100 shipping from New York to North Carolina.
And I had to. The guy who helped me with, he's like, "So should I just mark this as giant Magic card?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." That's what it is. But no, man, you're making a podcast. You're such a positive like force in the league. So I think that's what I'm going with. That's what I got. Until I top 8 or do something better, then you're kicked to the curb.
Hey, please do that. Kick me to the curb. Top 8 out there. I'm blushing too much positivity going on. Well, Chris, thank you for coming on the show, man. I'm really excited for our set wars. I can't wait to see how we do it. I'm really excited to kind of have our team back together. It's been a while. I think we did a sealed at a GP, a team sealed, and we ended up going undefeated. I can't remember which one, what set that was.
I don't remember.
It was, I want to say it was an Innistrad, maybe.
Maybe.
Or maybe it was a mystery boosters. I don't remember. But that was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to play with you again. Have you talking to me while I'm playing, me talking to you. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait. I think this will be a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people looking forward to it. So yeah, I can't wait.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I'll be rooting for you to break that ninth place and get into that top 8, get yourself a badge, and make a mega draft, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, you have yourself a good one, Chris.
You too.
Now, Chris is great. I've known Chris, like I said, 15 years. I've known Chris a long time before I was really playing Magic. That's how long I've known Chris. And he's a great player. I couldn't tell you. Oh, Chris is great. He does some great plays, some great things. And he's also the person who brought me into the league. And it was very nice of him to say that is his greatest accomplishment. And oh boy, I'm just happy to be here. And I really owe a lot of my success here. It's all due to Chris, right? Without Chris, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be making the podcast. I wouldn't be, giving bad advice about, I don't know, anything in the forums, and I just wouldn't be a part of the league and the community without Chris. So thank you, Chris. Really happy that you brought me in from one Magic player and one friend to another. And I'm ready to get my games in, man. I am ready. I got my deck built. Like I said, I played some practice games, and I at first I wasn't very happy with my pool, but after a couple practices, I don't know, I'm kind of happy with the pool, right? I am a little bit happy with what's going on, trying to stay positive, taking Chris York's advice. And we're going to be feeling positive about the deck. We're going to try to get some wins with our little build. And I hope you get some wins with your build. I hope your team can start strong. Each and everybody on your team, 5-0, boom. That's what I'm rooting for each and every one of you out there. And I'm also rooting that you get to keep a good 7, because that shuffler is still broken. So hopefully for you, this one time, this 1 week, a good 7. And I hope that shuffler is in your favor, not lands off the top. Unless you need lands, then lands off the top. But I'm saying, you got to draw your spice. You got to draw that heat right when you need it. And that's what I hope for you for your first week of Set Wars. And that's going to do it. Nice short show, and it's going to be short shows till we go back to another main league. Just to, alleviate a little pressure off your boy Goku, because, I don't know, I really want to play Overwatch 2 right now. I gotta go get some Overwatch in. But until then, I'll see everybody back here next week. Bye, everybody.